course, you're not able to see any of this. There we go. Oh, that one came in and just crushed it. You bet. Oh, he's twisted up in the tail. Oh, it's so nice to have. Whoa, a rod with some decent give in it for right at the hole like this. Oh, solid fish too. You bet. That is what we're looking for up here in the shallow water. It is so foggy this morning. I'm going to get a quick picture and put it on the bump board. Ooh, there she goes. We are actually out. We're on day 2. As you can see, it's a super foggy morning. Yesterday was a little bit of an interesting day, and I'll just throw some of that footage right now. I think I have a trout coming in. Let's see if we can get him to bite. Oh yeah, that's gotta be a trout. Oh yeah. Oh, he's gonna bite. Come on. There we go. Not big. Oh. Hey, we've got a trout. He is still so fired up. And my dad does want to keep one, so this will be one I think that we will keep because we haven't kept any yet. You can see on, there we go, on that power switch by Berkeley. Whoa. Uh-oh. Well, I just crashed my drone. Did you see where it went, Grant? Sounds good, I'll take a look. What a mess. Who crashes their drone during prime time? Oh, there's a mouse. Hey, you're my hero, Jake. So yeah, a little bit interesting end to the night, but we actually did have some okay luck in the morning with some decent sized fish, so I'll throw a little bit of that footage in right now. It's fighting like a decent one, huh? Yeah. Yeah, they don't like. It's a little bit more interesting with that shallower ice too, you know. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, that's a solid fish. You bet. It's a good one. Get a shot for the GoPro on the release. Go ahead. Sweet. Nice fish. Hey, Jake's hooked up. Let's get his first Laker. There you go. Hey!
Finally.
The monkey's off the bat.
Got it on.
Oh, the power switch. And then go ahead and let him go. You bet. Hey, made it happen. You bet, Jake. Woo! Jake just hooked into one. First lake trout ever. Nice one, about 27 inches. So getting some few fish to cruise through. Just not stumbled on that super active group. We kind of just got set up here and Jake hooked into that one though. So hopefully we'll see a few more. Not moving very fast yet. Oh, there he's moving faster. There he's moving faster. Oh, he swung and missed. I think I bonked him on the head dang near. Try to drop him. See if it'll take it on the drop. Yep, there he bit on the drop. Oh, he bit and then he spit it. See if he'll chase up. Yep. Yep. Yep, there we go. Oh, let's see if I get my transducer out. Don't think it's giant. Finally got him to eat though. Decent fish. Oh, it's a pike. Shoot. Decent pike, but man, he actually was almost eating like a lake trout. Definitely wanted on the drop though. Shoot, I thought that was going to be a Laker. Decent little pike though. So yeah, we're gonna kind of keep running and gunning around today, and our goal kind of is chasing some of these shallow lake trout. One of the things we found is it seems to be that more of the bigger fish are in that shallow water. Sometimes it's, you know, shallow reefs around some of that mid-lake structure. Sometimes it's these big shallow flats, and that's actually what we're fishing right now. Fishing a big shallow flat. I'm in about 29 feet right here, and it's kind of 29 feet over this whole thing. There's a little bit of structure off to my side. There's some rocks, a little reef over there, but it's kind of a shallow flat in between a couple little islands here. And so that's one of the areas that we're going to target. I'll talk through a lot of the other areas that we'll target kind of as we go, and just kind of give you some of my input on what we've seen, what we've found. Again, I'm not going to call myself a lake trout expert by any means, because this is my 5th, 6th time coming up here. But we have learned a lot in that little bit of time, and yeah, still a lot to learn. It's just such a fun fish to target through the ice. So we're going to give it a go here today before we have to leave, and hopefully we can put a few more decent trout topside. Not sure if I showed that bait because, again, I don't know if that camera is running, but honestly what I've been using most of this trip is the new Berkley power switch. When I saw this thing come out, obviously made for walleyes, but I was definitely looking at it as a lake trout bait, so excited to be using that. Jeff, who's actually probably caught the most fish easily out of our group, he has caught all of his. Oop. There we go. As we are, oh man, as we are talking about it. That is what is so fun about this lake trout right here. Oh my gosh. My hands are absolutely soaking wet right now. Oh, so I'm having a tough time gripping my reel. God, these things are so fun. I couldn't quite tell how big that thing was. Oh, oh my gosh. These lake trout are so wild. Another decent one, and he absolutely crushed it. Oh, so much fun. I'll show you that right there on that power switch. Just a super fun fish. These are great fish for kind of the area that we're targeting. Obviously you can catch some of those upper 30s, but man, just a beauty. Gonna put it on the bump board, grab a quick picture, and then we're gonna get her back. And I finally have the camera rolling for this one. There she goes. Sweet. Thank you. There we go. Got some settings figured out on my camera here, so it should look a little more clean for you now. And I think I actually had everything recording. So, again, I was just talking about that Berkley power switch. Really excited about that bait, and there you got to see it in action. Like I was saying, in the shallow water like this, those fish just come out of nowhere and they can just smoke it. My hands are just absolutely so wet from that first fish. So as I set the hook, everything is just slimy from lake trout slime, and another one coming in. Yeah, I can't even remember where I was at talking about that power switch, but man, another one. Oh, kind of went off to the side for a second, so I thought it maybe bit. But yeah, finally had everything recording, got some decent footage, and hopefully this bite can continue. That's one thing about these lake trouts, they can be so streaky. You can land 3, 4, 5 fish in short order, and then you can go the rest of the day without catching fish. So while these fish are around, we're gonna keep grinding it. We'll do a little more talking later about some of the spots, some of the locations that we're fishing. Something over there, about 20 feet. Can't tell if it's getting, oh yeah, he sees it. Oh, do you see that thing darting? That's gotta be a laker. How did that not bite? There he goes. Kind of looks like he's following that ridge. We'll get a little further down, get a little closer to him. I don't know if that's the same fish, if this is a different one. Kind of looks like it's coming this way. I switched it up to a tube. Just went with the steady classic. Sees it. See if he engages. Nope. Shoot. Still around maybe. Another one. Another one coming in. Come on. Keep coming. Oh, he swung and missed. See if it'll hit it on the drop, come back up. Come on. Come on. Come on. Drop back down. Oh, shoot. Well, still fun to watch chase there. As you can see, still very foggy out. We've been doing a lot of hole hopping here lately. Was a little trout. Just coming straight in. Couldn't get out of this rod holder. Oh, it might be coming back. Come on. Come on. Come on. Ooh, I might have bumped it. Like I was saying, we've been doing a lot of hole hopping. We have been trying a ton of different stuff. Trying to stay, again, fairly shallow because that's where we've seen some of the bigger fish. We had some pretty good action right away in the morning again, and this afternoon has been tough. But as we're kind of talking through that, I want to talk through a little bit of some of the areas that we are trying. You know, one of the things that I've been doing is I've actually set my highlight contour to be like 15 to 40 feet and have that be green. And when I do that, then I can kind of really pinpoint the areas that I'm looking for. And a few things that I'm looking for, the area that we caught those fish this morning is actually like a kind of a mid-range. It was about 30 feet is what it was the deepest, about a flat. And it was kind of in between two islands. It was just a big flat that went on for a long ways. And we didn't see a lot of bait there today, but I'm assuming that a lot of bait kind of cruises in there. And that's what those fish are chasing. Last night it was something similar, just a little bit deeper in about that 40-foot range. And so we've seen a lot of fish in some of those flat areas. And this one specifically actually had kind of a rock hump in between, close to the island, and so they were kind of able to cruise along that edge. So I was set up pretty close to that, about 40 feet away or so. And so that's one of the first areas we've been targeting, is kind of that mid-range flat, or even shallower than that, sometimes up to like 20 feet. Another thing that we're looking for is some of these pinch points. That's where I've been bouncing a lot of. That might be between two islands, that might be in the middle of two humps. Again, trying to stick to that 20 to 40 feet range. You know, sometimes we'll be able to go a little bit deeper. We'll go 50, 60, 70, 80, you know, your typical lake trout depths, and that will sometimes produce more fish. Again, not a lake trout pro by any means, but just something that I've been learning over the last few years doing this. And so we've been up shallower, trying to find these bigger fish. And one of the things we've seen is, like I said, those pinch points, where those kind of travel points, has been a very good, sorry, I can't talk and fish at the same time, but I see a fish coming in. Come on, come on. Oh, man, they just will not commit. Throw back down that power switch. That's my confidence bait right now. You'll find that happen very quickly when you're out trout fishing, is you catch a couple fish and you quickly develop some confidence baits. A lot of times for me that's a tube, but today, or this trip, it's been this power switch. Again, some of the things we've been targeting: shallow flats. Shallow is all relative. I mean, relative to the body of water. Fishing walleyes, you know, shallow might be 5-6 feet. Shallow for lake trout is, you know, 40-30 feet and less. So we're targeting those shallow flats, pinch points between islands, between humps, between that kind of stuff. And then another one that has been really good is some saddles, like especially if they're on top of humps. We're looking at some of this mid-lake structure, wanting some of that bigger mid-lake structure, not looking for these small little humps. We're looking for some pretty big areas that have a variety of depth ranges on top of them. And if there's like a flat on that next to some of the shallower water, or if there's a little bit of a drop off, that is another one that could be seeming to be holding some fish. And another just classic lake trout spot, which is actually what I'm fishing right now, is just those steep breaks. You can see there's this island behind me. It's a little bit of a flat that sticks out, and then there's just this wall right here that kind of drops off. And these fish seem to be cruising us. Then it kind of flattens out to about that 40 feet or so. And so a little bit deeper than what we've been fishing some of the stuff. But there's clearly been fish here. Again, I don't know if it's the same one that keeps coming back, but seeing a few fish kind of cruising this. And we could see that one that I was following. I just kind of kept following it up this break line. I moved out a little deeper to see if it would go out over that flat a little more, but it's staying right at kind of the base of that break, just kind of working that. And so that's kind of when we're hole hopping, we're looking for a lot of that different stuff. Having that highlight contour is very helpful. And then just kind of breaking down some of those common things that you're looking for and bouncing from spot to spot. I haven't been staying, honestly, in a spot longer than 15-20 minutes unless I've seen a fish or caught a fish. This morning, that's an area that we've had some luck before, so we stayed out there a little bit longer. We, I think, stayed there for the first hour or two as we were catching those fish. But again, some of those high confidence areas that maybe we've caught fish, I'll stay longer. But if I'm just looking for new stuff, I'm only fishing for, like I said, 10, 15, 20 minutes before I move on to the next spot. So that's kind of that structure that we're looking for. Some of the main spots that we are targeting, and there's some other stuff that we'll target here and there as we see it, but those are kind of the main areas that we're looking for. And again, in that kind of 20, maybe up to 15 to 40 foot range is kind of what we're looking for. And that seems to be our best bet for some of the bigger fish. And when you're doing that, you might not get into as many numbers, but your chances of catching those upper 20s, 30 plus inches is going to be a lot higher from what we've found. So what's been doing most of the damage here this weekend for me is that Berkley power switch. I have caught about 3 trout on it and it's already being kind of tore up. So not sure that I am very happy about that because they're not cheap, but still willing to give them more of an effort. But they definitely were liking that bait. And what I have that on is, this is the Elliott greenback. This is a 42-inch heavy fast action, and I have that on the Carbon X2 2000. The other one that I was using was the Elliott Siskoet, and that is with the Carbon X2 2000 as well. That I was using for some of my heavier baits, like maybe some heavy tube jigs, some swim baits, things like that. But those were the main rods, reels, bait, tackle. I think I had about 40-pound braid with a 20-pound fluorocarbon leader on there. And that was kind of the nuts and bolts of what I was using out here. But I just got the text, we're gonna be packing up, time to head in. Another fun little trip up here. We had just absolutely perfect weather, hardly any wind, perfect for hopping around on the snowmobile. Loving this snowmobile setup right now. It was perfect for this hole hopping with these lake trout. If you're kind of curious of what my setup was, I'll put a link in the description below here. I just posted a video of kind of a full walkthrough of my snowmobile, so go ahead and check that out if you're interested in kind of how I have things set up, because it's a perfect hole hopping machine. But with that, we're gonna head it. I got to teach in the morning, and so it's gonna be a late night and an early morning, but definitely worth it to come up here and chase some of these lake trout. As always, appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.